Hello, everyone, and welcome. Going to give it a few seconds as people hop on. For those of you who are meeting me for the first time, my name is Dr. Twanna Carter, and I am a career transition coach for high achieving professional women. I help them overcome that fear and anxiety that can sometimes come along with shifting into transitioning to pivoting to a new career, a new role. And I do that by empowering them to recognize and communicate their unique value and by instilling a deep sense of belief in their own strengths and ability so they can confidently and courageously create success on their own terms and pursue that path of purpose that's meaningful to them to land that dream job, that dream role that's actually perfect for them. We know that there are no perfect jobs, but there is a role out there that is exactly perfect for you. So, if you are joining me today, I know that you're joining me because I'm dishing on the 15 strategies and tactics that can get you out of a job search rut, right? So, if you can hear me, I'm going to pop on, to all the platforms. Those of you on YouTube, welcome. Thank you for being here. Those of you who are seeing this on LinkedIn, welcome to you as well. And to my Courage to Transition Your Career Facebook group, welcome to you. And if you don't click the link in my group that says that StreamYard can show your name, when you comment, it will just say Facebook user. If you're fine with that, I'm fine with it. But if you want me to call out your name, you'll need to click that link, right? So if you can hear me, definitely drop a number one and just let me know where you're hopping on from. I had the pleasure today of being in Gulfport, Mississippi earlier today and eating at Half Shell. It came highly recommended. I got to tell you that sweet potato cream brulee that I can't even say, it was so good I can't even say it right. It was so good. I've never had crawfish cornbread. That was interesting. It was good as well. I totally enjoyed myself in Gulfport today. So thank you for your welcome and your kindness. I was down there getting my passport all set for global entry because I am ready to travel. It's that time. Yes, yes, yes. So, how many of you are traveling this year? Anybody else? Or, okay, Talina is from Chicago. Hey, Talina, let me know if I'm actually saying your name correctly. Anybody else out there ready to travel? I'm ready. I'm ready to go. It's been 2 long years. I took a cruise to Italy, Montenegro, in Greece in 2019, not quite a year, just short of a year before the pandemic hit. So I lost out to Spain. So I'm ready to travel. It's just time. It is just time now, right? So let me check in the Facebook group. Be sure that you guys are getting the link just fine. And there it is. And be sure that I know that Talina says you can hear me on LinkedIn. Pretty cool. And I am on my YouTube channel, and you are all set to go as well. Great, great, great. So I have a LinkedIn user from Florida. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So Talina says, yes, it's time for travel. It's way past time for travel. I went to Hawaii last year and I'm going back this year, but I'm ready to go overseas, right? And I'll tiptoe, I'll start easy. I could do Costa Rica or Dominican Republic, Barbados. I'm happy to do any of those and also wanting to go to Africa and to Europe as well. And I have a standing open invitation to Japan. I need to take her up on that offer as well. I got to do Japan as well, right? Latasha is hopping on from Virginia. That's normally where I am. Today I'm still in Alabama. You can see my background has actually changed. When I'm in Maryland, I typically am in my office when I do these lives, but I am in Alabama, but I do live in the DMV area. So welcome, 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 Latasha. And let me pop over and see who it is on Facebook. It probably is someone on my page, I think. Let's see, let's see. Yep, I think it is. But everybody is certainly welcome Feel free to drop your comments and everything. So without further ado, because I have 15 strategies and tactics, and I like to talk. I don't just like to, just kind of read them off and go from there. I want to discuss them a little bit, but stay to the end because I have a treat for you, something that can help you out with this 15 strategies. All right. So this is for those people that was like I was. The longest job that I look for is about a little over 2.5 years. And when you're filling out applications after applications, you're talking, you're chit chatting with people, and you're not getting any traction, it can kind of weigh you down, and you just kind of get into a rut. Like, why am I doing this again? And sometimes it's, folks will even just say, I give, I'm tired, but the thing is why not do something a little bit different? Why not tweak what you're doing so that you can actually feel fulfilled and land that job in 2022 that you've been looking for? So without further ado, I'm going to start with number one. And these are 15 tactics. And so, I'm going to try to do a lot better in keeping count, right? Try to do better at that today because I got 15. But number one, do only focus on the companies that you really like, that you really, really like. There's really no point in saying, I don't really want to work for them, but hey, the job is open, why not? That can really drag you down and make you feel like you're in a rut because you're applying to places that you don't really want to work, and then you're getting upset when they don't call you in for an interview, but you didn't want to work there in the first place. So conserve that energy and be sure that you only apply to the companies you really like, that you really want to work for. Number two, you know, you're an impressive and talented professional. You deserve a job that fits your talents and your strengths. You got to remind yourself of that because you would, as someone says, as Kat says this, you wouldn't be occupying the job you have right now if you didn't already have the skills and abilities to do the job. So, yes, you're an impressive, talented professional. You deserve a job that fits your talents and strengths. You have to remember that and keep saying that to yourself. If necessary, put it on a sticky note next to your mirror, make it your screensaver. So every time you flick up that screensaver, you remember that and you tell yourself that because we have to encourage ourselves. Yes, it's nice when other people encourage us, but sometimes we have to encourage ourselves, right? And number three, identify opportunities by making a list of the dream companies, then check out their Instagram feeds and their websites for job openings. So, yes, you can pop in hashtags on Instagram and look for jobs. Employers are really looking. It's a huge competition out there now for talent. So employers are pulling out all the stops. You can use hashtags on Instagram just as well as you can use hashtags on LinkedIn. You can also use those hashtags on Facebook, right? Don't sleep on it. Definitely identify that list by looking and seeing what's out there. Hit them up in all of the social media platforms, right? Number four, and I'm taking my time here and I'm making sure that I'm highlighting because, I'll get lost because, I start talking, I get all excited, right? So here we go. Number four. So we're about to have two dogs coming to the back door. They've been barking at me to get in. So I think my door is about to let them in. So if you hear some noise in the background, that's what it is. Because I'm surprised you hadn't heard them yet. There's like, I see you over there ignoring me, right? So number four, start a newsletter around your unique value. LinkedIn makes this really, really super easy for you. It's already set, you do the article, you click newsletter, and bam, you can do a newsletter. Chock it full of those keywords and talk about your unique value, what you bring to the table, and then invite people to your newsletter. Easy peasy, right? Anybody out there got a newsletter for that purpose? I know I do. I have a newsletter, but it's to let you know what I'm doing and just talk about VIP career transition services, right? So look that up. I do. It's called VIP. I think VIP career services. I have a newsletter out there. So it's simple. It's really simple. You get to choose how often you want to do it. You either do it once a month, twice a month, every week. It's up to you. Every other month, however you choose to do it. It's a great way to get your content out there get what your value is, what you're excited about, and what you're looking for in that job, right? Number 5, do, there they go. They're such good babies. Look at them. They're such good babies. They really are, Anna and Miss Abby. So, number 5, do include the Chamber of Commerce in your networking. Yes, yes. Chamber of Commerce is all about businesses local to you, and not just your local Chamber of Commerce, but if you wanted to move to another geographical area, rather, check that one out too. Anywhere that you want to work, check out those Chamber of Commerces. They're chock full of ideas. And some of them, you may want to join and be a member. You don't have to, but when you join, they have all of these functions that they do, networking functions and whatnot. A wonderful source for finding what companies are local to you and what they do and what they're looking for. Also, a great way to meet some CEOs and some C-suites and some HR folks, depending on who they send to those meetings. Wonderful, wonderful networking opportunity, right? Anybody out there a member of their Chamber of Commerce, or do you kind of hang out and attend meetings? I know that, of course, they were doing a lot of stuff virtually, but some folks are starting to open back up. Definitely check that out. Okay. Number 6, in case you're keeping up, and I'm so proud of myself. I'm definitely keeping up with my numbers today. Leverage your social media, right, to expand your network with potential companies. Now, it goes without saying, right? If if you got some questionable things on your social media, you may want to clean that up, right? If you have something that you would not want your soon to be boss or your HR to see, then it probably shouldn't be on your social media. Even if you make it private, that doesn't stop people from screenshotting what you say and putting it out, because a lot of folks have found that out the hard way. So do make sure that your social media is fairly clean, right? Nothing offensive, and leverage it to do your networking there. I told you about the hashtag. Twitter has hashtags. You can find jobs on hashtags. Again, companies are pulling out the stops because they know they have to reach Gen Z, they got to reach millennials, they got to reach Gen X, and they got to reach baby boomers. So they're reaching everybody, right? Zillennials, they're reaching everybody. So they're covering all of the platforms to do that. So use it to network. Follow the people at the companies that you really like. What are they talking about? What are they interested in? How can you contribute to that conversation? That's the best way to network, right? Anybody out there already doing that? Anybody out there? Drop a 2 in the chat if you're using the Chamber of Commerce, or you're definitely leveraging social media to expand your network, right? The percentage of chance that you have getting hired from just using job boards is very, very small. The percentage of chances that you'll get hired by leveraging your network is much, much higher. So you don't want to just use the job boards. I'm not saying not to, but don't just depend on those, because that's how people get into a rut. Now, I hear people saying, yeah, I'm applying to 50 to 100 jobs every week on job boards and I got nothing. Tweak it. Do your networking. Go watch those companies. Do the research. Who's in the C-suite? Who's the HR managers? Find the HR specialist names. Follow those people on social media. Engage them on social media in things that are interesting or common to you both. Great and wonderful way to improve or expand that network, right? Number 7, and don't be afraid to attend events outside of your industry. I know that, for instance, I used to be a budget analyst and a financial management analyst for HUD and the Department of Navy. So, of course, you're going to attend, I would be looking for, if I was looking for the job, I would want to join the organization and then attend those events. But you can also attend events outside of that. It's a wonderful way to grow your network, because you never know who knows who. It's also a really great way to build relationships with the people who have similar values and interests like you do. It's like, what do you mean outside? Are you a yoga fan? Do you do yoga? Are you attending events where there's yoga? It's not just always about, if I were a budget analyst, only budget analyst positions, or, budget analyst type events, but I attend yoga events. Are you taking taekwondo? Well, that's another way to do it, right? Do you like canoeing? Do a meetup with folks who like canoeing. Do you like English literature? Do a meetup, 10 meet. It's a nice way because again, you're always wanting to be networking, but you can have fun while networking at the same time. You can't, and I know for some folks that network is a dirty word, but you can actually network and have fun. Okay. If you're keeping up, we're on number 8. Use informational interviews to increase your network. So here's a value. If you are engaging with folks on your social media platform, you're also, doing those outside events, use those people that you meet to do information interviews. Now, really when you want to do an information interview, your target is to look at the folks who have your job and then look 1 to 2 positions above that. Try to do an information interview with that person. You're not asking for a job, but it's a great 15, 20 or so minute conversation with people. What do you do? What was your path to get there? What do you like about what you do? What's challenging about what you do? Where do you see your growth? Those are the kinds of questions. You don't ask for, never ask for a job in an informational interview, because oftentimes you are doing an informational interview with someone who doesn't have any hiring power. And then you're putting them on a spot and making them feel bad. You don't want to do that because they just agreed to give you 15 to 30 minutes of their time, right? So never ask for a job in an information interview. It's just what it says, information, right? And then, ask them, I'm really liking this position here, thinking about doing this. Do you have someone I can talk to who is doing this job? So I can get an idea of what it's like to do this job on a day-to-day basis, right? Again, you're expanding your network and they know you're interested. Informational interviews are a wonderful way to get information and again, network, expanding your network, right? Number 9, do take a few days off your job and job shadow in your industry of choice. A lot of people are doing that. If you work it out where you're job shadowing on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Thursday, Friday, you got the weekend, you can travel and go to a job shadow. It could be in your city, it could be somewhere else. Job shadowing is a wonderful way if you're thinking about doing a 180-degree pivot, right? Job shadowing is really a great way to see if you're really going to like the job. Follow someone around who's doing the job. And yes, people are doing virtual job shadowing. I know we're opening back up, but there are virtual folks that do virtual job shadowing. It's a wonderful way to find out what the job is like and as well expand your network, right? Expanding that network, important. So if you are keeping up, we're on number 10. I want to stop a minute. Any comments out there about any of these? Are you doing one of these? If you're doing information interviews or you've done those in the past, drop information in the comments, right? It's a wonderful thing to do. Or job shadowing. Anybody out there has done job shadowing before? It's a really great. I've done that as well. When I finished up my master's program, I actually job shadowed, and it's a wonderful thing to do because they were like right on the verge of offering me a job. I took another job with someone else, but it was wonderful to sit, go through a couple of hours on that job to see what it was doing, what it was like actually doing the job, working with those customers, working with your potential teammates. It was a wonderful thing. Again, I wasn't doing it to get the job, but I was invited to do the job shadow, so I did. Again, always be networking, right? And I still have some folks that I keep in contact with from that network. It's always be networking, always be networking, right? Number 10, okay? Interview like this is an employee's market because, well, it is. This is not the time to play small. Yes, it's an employee's market. That also means it's competitive, right? So it is competitive because a lot of people are shuffling. This is a great reshuffle in the big shift. But here's the thing, you can really negotiate some nice perks because it's such a competitive job market and employers are really out there really seeking to get the best employee for their positions, sometimes an employee for their positions, and they're actually giving on some things they would normally give. Now, don't get me wrong, there are still employers who are like putting everything in the kitchen sink. in that position description, but don't be afraid. If you can do about 75-80% of that job, apply for it. Apply, because employers do put nice to have stuff in there. So when you're reading that job description, this is kind of like number 16. When you're reading that job description, don't just think if they've listed 10 things, I've only got 9, I don't qualify. Not true, because sometimes they list things that they don't necessarily have to have in their job description, right? I was listening to someone say that there is a customer service job that they need to be intermediate computer user. It was a customer service job. No, really, just customer service, no computer usage involved at all. But they threw that in there. It's like, hey, we might as well. We can try to get it. We can. So again, when you're reading job descriptions, if they have 10 and you have 7, 7, 8 of those skills, 9, go ahead and apply for the job, right? Because it's really your personality that they'll hire you for anyway, and they'll train you to do whatever it is you're missing. Right. So that's kind of like number 16, because I'm going to keep on my count here. But this really isn't the time to play small. Walk in there, with the confidence and the courage, because you do have the skills that you need. You have to tell yourself that. Otherwise, you'll be playing small and you'll just, lay the avenue wide open for someone else to get that job. Number 11, self-branding is the key. I know we think branding when we talk about, Versace and McDonald's and Hardee's and, Gloria Vanderbilt, I guess, is still out there, and all those different things. Michael Kors. Yes, that's branding, but you too have a personal brand. Again, you make sure your social media is clean, because it's part of your branding. And that newsletter, you can brand, use that to work to, concentrate and put out your self branding. Create your online presence. Don't let it just be there because you just like a lot of stuff, say a lot of things. Be intentional about what you're putting out on social media, right? Because everything is Googleable. I mean, I found some pictures from like 1994, and I was like, oh my goodness. And it's just the outfit I had on was ugly. I don't know why I wore that. So it's nothing bad, but the outfit was really ugly. You'd be surprised what ends up on social media. Every so often, this is going to be like 17, right? Got 16. Read that job description. 17, every so often, Google yourself. See what pops up. Okay? See what pops up. I actually found everything about me. My whole life was laid out. And I was like, excuse me. And I had to click the button and, write to them. Was like, no, you need to take this off. It was very personal stuff and all my personal numbers. And they took it down. And I mean, they said give them 3 days, I think 72 hours. They had it down in like 5 minutes. So Google yourself every so often and see what pops up, right? It can get dicey when other people have your name. That's why you'll want to Google yourself every so often so you can say, yeah, that person actually lives in Corpus Christi, Texas. I live in Maine. That is not me. I've never been to Corpus Christi. Sometimes you may need to address it if people have the same name, just to be sure, right? But definitely, Google yourself, see what pops up, because your potential employers will Google you. When I was looking for a job, I always knew when I was about to get interviewed, because somebody, it would be anonymous, but somebody from my potential company would have popped in on my LinkedIn profile, right? They do it. So those of you that are looking at this on, LinkedIn, I'm sorry, on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, if you're not on LinkedIn, I'm not sure why. You really need to be there, because that's where your potential employers go to look you up. I can't tell you how many jobs they actually win. I was like, oh, I'm about to get an interview. And sure enough, for the next few following days, I get an interview because they popped in, looked at my LinkedIn profile, liked what they saw, and then offered to interview me. So your social media is very, very important, right? So if you're keeping up, we are on number 12. Be prepared for both an in-person interview and online interview. Sometimes some people are doing one or they're doing the others, but sometimes they do both. So be prepared for that, right? You can do both for the same potential, for the same position. So as you're out there looking, be prepared to do that. Sometimes we have kind of funky living situations, or some of us are kind of like in a whole 5 states away, because we live here, but we're actually 5 states away and doing remote work, and we're kind of like not really liking anybody to know that, but then they want to interview you locally because you said you live here. So be prepared for that. Don't let that pass you by. Okay. Number 13, do focus on the specialized skills that make you stand out from the other candidates, right? And it's okay to take some certification classes because that's what's making people stand out. You know, like D and I. Yes, you can have been in an area for a while, but when you show up for interviews, they will still ask you, what certification do you have for D and I? It's great to say I've been doing it for 10 years, but if they say, what courses have you taken? You want to have a course taken, right? It just will make you stand out. I tell folks, when they're coming out of college now with their undergrad, I tell them to go ahead, do an undergrad. Whatever your industry is, search out all of the certifications you could get in the different organizations you can join and start joining and start getting your certifications right out of your BS degree. And certainly if you're working on your master's, same thing. Get those certifications because they count. They make you stand out above. And you want to concentrate on that because if everything is the same, every potential candidate is the same, what makes you stand out is your specialized skills, right? Because everybody can type on the computer. Everybody can. Pretty much now, whether you hunt and peck or type, everybody has this skill. But being able to say, I know Excel or I know Java or I know this and I know that, I know Access, I know this, that's those specialized skills make you stand out for someone who hunts and pecks, right? So number 14, we're almost there. Even in the digital age, human connections still matter. You still need to make that human connection. It is so easy to just get caught up in job boarding. You're like every day, 10 I'm applying for 10 jobs every day on the job board. If you're working with a recruiter, reach out to them. Whether or not you're asking for the job, reach out, ask them how their day is. If you find something that they'd be interested in reading or what their interests are because you're on the social media looking, find an article and zing it to them. Copy them on an article. Make the human connection, not just when you need something, just a good morning, good afternoon, here's this, I thought you'd be interested in that. But you do need to make that human connection because that's what really clicks with folks, right? Because at the end of the day, yes, we're in a technology age, but technology isn't making the decision to hire. Human beings are. So it goes back to the social media. Do engage with folks. I had a client that she'd been out of her workspace or industry for maybe about 10 years or so. And she was very nervous. She's like, they're just not going to hire me back. It's been this long and everybody else has moved on. And I was like, no, you got to get in there and network. And she was kind of like, I got to do what? I was like, go on LinkedIn, engage with folks, chit chat, talk, make the comments and just engage with the people who you're interested in. They're interested in the same industry, that kind of thing. And so she was kind of like, oh, I really got to do that. She went ahead and she did that. And she came back and she said, this is a lot easier than I thought it would be. I don't know what the hesitancy was, but it's a lot easier. She went on to land a job with an 81K raise, right? That's like huge. But she had to expand her network. And it was great. I had another client that kind of felt like, oh, it's been so long since I talked to my network. And she, she was like, Twanna, I don't know about this. I'm just not sure about this. It's like, come on, you got to do the networking piece. When she reached out with articles and she was giving value to people, she was so surprised at the people that were interested in her. They were excited about reconnecting with her. Networking is the key. That's a human touch, right? That is literally the human touch. You have to do the human touch because at the end of the day, again, the human being is doing the hiring, right? So if you've been with us, we're number 15. Actually, I gave you 2 extra in there, so I did a 16 and 17. But number 18 is foster connections within your circle of support, right? If you go to church or you go to mosque, you go to synagogue, foster communications in your circle of support as well. Job search is frustrating and it can be lonely. those human connections in your circle of support will keep you grounded and motivated, because when you start to feel isolated, feelings of anxiety are personified, feelings of distress are personified, feelings of I'm not good enough are personified, and they just get worse when you feel isolated. So, to prevent that isolation, stay in contact with your circle of support. If you don't have one, then you definitely need to build it. And you can't build a circle of support with people who are dismissive of you, who don't support you, who don't like you. You just, that's not a circle of support. You really do have to spend time to seek out folks who are motivating, inspiring, or, it's going to say, hey, I spoke to this person over here. You'd be surprised at how job leads can come. They can come from any different avenues. So yes, your circle of support is important for that, but it's important because it keeps you connected so that you don't feel so alone in this journey. And I'm going to do a number 18 also. Don't hesitate to take a break. If you need a break and you've been at it hard and heavy, go ahead and take a break from job searching. Give your mind a break, do something that's enjoyable, hang out with your family, see a friend you hadn't seen before, take a mini vacation, take a staycation, take a long vacation. But sometimes you do need that break away from it, and you'll come back refreshed and rejuvenated. All right. So you made it to number, I got 18 now. Started off with 15, but I threw in 16, 17, and 18. But that's okay. A little bit extra is always good. So if you enjoyed this and you'd like to get a copy of the transcript, go ahead and I'm going to pop a form in there. Go ahead and fill out that form, and I will email it to you. And I'm going to put this in a couple of different places to make sure that you get it. When I get the transcript ready for you, I'll simply just email it to you. You will have it. And you can, because I know some of you were furiously taking notes, but don't worry about taking notes, because I'll give you the transcript and you will have everything that you need, right? So Talina says, yes, out there. All righty. Any questions or comments? Did you all find this useful? I mean, the whole point of me of doing this is really to any question that that's me live talking to myself. Ha ha. But I'm trying to put this in all the different places so you all will have the let's see, did I do it? Did it happen that fast? Let's see. I think I did. So you definitely will have the transcript and you can do this. Okay. So thank you for hanging there to the end. You will want to be here next week. You don't want to miss it. I'm going to be dishing on the keys to overcoming undermining and self-sabotaging at work and while you're looking for a job, because there's a lot of that going on too. We start self-sabotaging and undermining myself. I don't qualify for this. Nobody's ever going to do. Yes, that piece of it. It can happen when you're getting a new role, you're a brand new manager, or you've been a manager, but you're in a new role, new industry, new company. We can actually self-sabotage and undermine our own selves. And I'm going to give you some keys to overcome that next week. So be sure you're right back here next week, same bat time and same bat place. So my LinkedIn user says, yes, thank you. Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, that if I don't have any more comments or questions, I am going to say bye-bye and I'll see you next week. Thank you for being here. Those of you who catch the replay, drop hashtag replay and let me know where you caught the replay from. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.